Hey guys, I'm here to talk about the movies I haven't reviewed back in the month of June. So let's start off with Insidious Chapter 3. I watched the first one, I didn't like it that much. Saw a bit of the second one, thought it's as bad as the first one, so I didn't finish that one. So now you're thinking, why did I want to check up Insidious Chapter 3? I guess it's because of, I heard that the series is very scary. That, oh my god, for a PG-13 movie, that's actually very scary. At least I think Insidious Chapter 3 is PG-13. I could be wrong. I gotta double check on that. For some reason, it has this fan base, so I just gotta check it out why. And the real reason why I want to check this out is because that this has almost nothing to do with Insidious Chapter 1 and 2. It doesn't deal with that family, the Patrick Wilson family. It deals with this girl, and apparently this girl and also her best friend, who's the Asian girl, they're both from the upcoming movie Gem and the Holograms. So it's like, that movie is gonna look terrible. I seen the new trailer for it. It looks horrible. It really does. You have a robot that does holograms, and it's only used to show daddy farewell videos, basically. So my curiosity is, okay, why people still like these series, and also how are the actors for that's supposed to be in Gem and the Holograms. So I gotta say the good thing about this movie, the acting's very good. Especially from the two girls. I'm kind of speechless about that. You feel bad for the main character. She lost her mother and she wants to reconnect with her. That's why she's trying to speak to her spirit. But things went wrong and there's this demon that keeps haunting her. The man who can't breathe. Basically, it's an asthmatic and he looks creepy as hell. Not scary, he just looks creepy. But my god, she goes through all this pain and suffering. After she fucks up her audition, she is out with her best friend. She was just walking she's walking across the street. And then all of a sudden she sees this figure waving back at her. So she was there for like about 20 seconds just staring at it. Then all of a sudden a car hits her and you're like, what the hell? I know it's nighttime, but she is in a brightly lit area, mind you. She's in the middle of the road. And this is not like a very crowded road or anything. It's not like a lot of cars keep coming by. No. She's just in the middle of the road for about 20 seconds. Then she just gets hit by a car. And I was like, who's the driver of that car? My God. And seriously, when you see her getting hit by the car, if you guys seen Tomorrowland, you remember that scene when the little girl gets hit by the truck and you're like, oh my god, that's actually gruesome if they actually have blood in it? Yeah, she breaks her legs and all that, and you're like, oh my god, why? And also, this demon keeps torturing her. The demon flings her across the room, and she has broken legs. She breaks her neck, and at one point, she almost broke her back. She could have died from that. And you're like, leave this poor girl alone. She just made a little tiny mistake. She wants to talk to her dead mother. Leave her alone! And then it doesn't deal with just the girl's story, though. It also deals with the lady from the Insidious series. I forgot her name. All I know is that I've seen the actress before. She was in Something About Mary, and that scene with her breasts scarred me for life. That's great. Great prosthetic breasts, but still, oh my god, seeing that, oh god. Yeah, it deals with her storyline and how she met up with the two investigators, and they explain why they dress the way they dress, that he loses the mohawk, that he's decently dressed. One's the blogger, and the other one is just the camera guy. I totally forgot exactly what they do, but these characters are all good characters. I just totally forgot their names since it's July and I watched this movie back in early June. Yeah, like I said, the characters are good, and I wouldn't say there's a lot of bad things about the movie. It's just that it's not as scary as I hope for it to be. People keep saying it's scary, but it really isn't. Sure, there's a couple of jump scares that were good, to be honest, but just a couple of jump scares classifies this movie as a scary movie? How does that work? So the atmosphere is creepy, and that the camera angles are pretty good, and there are some tense moments, but here's the thing. If you've seen any horror movie like this before, you know what's gonna happen. Okay, it's gonna be tense. You see some bloody footsteps. The person's gonna investigate. Then they look around. Then there's nothing there. And then once they turn a bit more, then it's the actual jump scare. It's the same kind of formula. So I'm kind of sick of that, to be honest. But Insidious Chapter 3, I gotta say, it was a fun time. It was. And I do like the the main character who's going to play Kimber in Gem and the Holograms. And I do like the old lady, the psychic. And even though there's a scene where it's so cheesy where she headbutts a ghost, the woman in black ghost, and she says, get away from her, you bitch, or something like that. I don't know. Basically, it's supposed to be like the Ripley line from Aliens, but whatever. It was so cheesy. It didn't need to be there. But anyway, it was a fun movie. It was. Alright, so the next one is Entourage. I never seen the TV show. I was worried that I would not understand anything about this movie. But here's the weird thing. I actually knew who these guys are immediately. And it's weird. I'm wondering if it's because it's not like they're playing stereotypes. It's just that once you meet up with these guys for 5 minutes, you know exactly who they are. You know about Vince. You know about Eve, Drama, Turtle. And there's another guy. Oh yeah, Ari Gold. How the heck do I remember these characters' names if I've never seen the TV show? And I saw this movie back in June and I remembered these characters' names. I do like these guys. If you don't like any of these characters, then you're not gonna like this movie. But I do like these characters. I love everything about them. And I do like the fact that I think it is Turtle. Turtle is the one that just happens to be rich for no reason. I don't think they actually explained it. They said something about his liquor business, but they didn't explain how come it's very successful. But they did say that he used to be fat and now he's skinny, and I was like, okay. But I heard that the season finale, the series finale happened a bunch of years ago, but Turtle was fat, but now he's skinny. But the movie takes place a couple months after Vince gets married. So, I don't know, that confused me a lot. But then again, people can lose weight in 3 months anyway, so whatever. Basically, to me, the outstanding star of the movie has to be Jeremy Piven, whatever his name is, as Ari Gold. I loved him. He is great. Seriously, I felt like the movie should have focused more on him because his story is freaking awesome. But you do like the other guys, and the other guys' stories are basically side stories since Ari Gold is more like the main character than Vince. I think that's the point, that Vince is supposed to be like the straight man, and everyone else is like some kind of out there personality or something like that. You have E is his best friend manager who deals with his own shit about he divorced from Sloane, played by Emmanuel Cherokee, I believe that's the name, and she is hot, and she's pregnant with his child, but they got divorced, and he's broken up about that. But because of the ecstasy, no, it's not the ecstasy. What was it? The Viagra or something like that. Yes, that drama mixed in with his drink. So he starts having sex with all these women, and then he hears that they're pregnant also. He's like, oh my god, what the hell? And he's in charge of producing Vince's movie. And then you have Drama, who's trying to make it out there in films, and every actor and actress trying to make it out there in films can relate to this guy. That, okay, he's always been in Vince's shadow, and he's nothing without Vince, and he's trying to make a name for himself. So he's happy that Vince will let him be the supporting star of his new movie. But the problem is that Haley Joel Osment, who plays the bastard in this movie, seriously, I can't believe that he's fat, but still, he's a good actor. Haley Joel Osment is good. I can't wait to see him in Kingdom Hearts 3. I just beat Ventus' story in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep right now on the PS3 remastered version. But yeah, so Haley Joel Osment doesn't want Drama in the movie, and Drama's upset about that, of course. And then it turns out that Haley Joel Osment doesn't like Vince because Vince took away Emily Ratajkowski away from Haley Joel Osment, even though he has nothing to get with her or something like that. So you have that, and you have Turtle, who's in love with Ronda Rousey, and I don't blame you, dude. Seriously, Ronda Rousey, it's weird because she's muscular and stuff. She is like a second Wonder Woman. I always think Gina Carano should have been Wonder Woman, but still, Ronda Rousey, there's something about a woman that beats the living shit out of you that makes it hot. So she's hot in this, she's great in this, and she's a better actor playing as herself than she was in Expendables 3. How the hell is that possible? I liked her in this movie. And you do see all these cameos. There's a Liam Neeson cameo that only lasted a couple seconds. Yeah, there's so many cameos in here that lasted only a couple seconds. But I think Kelsey Grammer grew on me a lot because he came out of the counseling and he's like, oh, you're here? You're fucked up too. That was great. So yeah, the movie was a lot of fun. And I'm surprised that I didn't get lost, and I was worried that I would not like this movie. The the trailers make it look fun, and this movie was fun. I'm not sure I'll get it on Blu-ray though, but I'll probably rent it one more time just to watch it again, and I do like the film. And I'm kind of disappointed that Nina Agdal, seriously, great model, she's beautiful. She barely has anything to do with the movie. It's more about Emily Ratajkowski and Ronda Rousey. But still, it's great to see Nina Agdal in there. So that's Entourage. Love and Mercy. Okay, I am kind of upset because I kind of slept in the beginning of this movie, and usually I don't want to review a movie if I slept during it, because that would be unfair to the movie. Probably there would have been a good thing, probably there would have been a bad thing. I had to experience it all. But I do have to say this. I think I only missed out in the first 15 minutes because the remainder of the movie was very good. This movie is good. I mean, I don't know that much about the Beach Boys. I know a couple of their songs, but it turns out that the songs I liked happens to be after Brian Wilson stopped being a part of the Beach Boys. So now I know this much about Brian Wilson, and yeah, it's a tragic story, and it's great. I do like the different Brian Wilsons. You have the one with John Cusack, who plays the older version, and Paul Dano, who plays the younger version. And both actors pulled it off, but I feel like Paul Dano should be nominated for this film. I don't know if that means he'll be a Best Supporting Actor, because this movie is 50% young, 50% old Brian Wilson, but Paul Dano pulled it off, man. He sings so good. He gained so much weight for this role. He gets lost into his character, and it's just great. It's amazing. But then again, I almost want to get Paul Giamatti nominated because he plays such a douchebag and he's so good at it. There's this scene with John Cusack and Paul Giamatti. They're at the beach house and Elizabeth Banks just happens to be there. She's dating the older Brian Wilson. John Cusack, he's hopped up on meds and he keeps saying that he's hungry. But Paul Giamatti keeps trying to give the hamburger to Elizabeth Banks. Elizabeth Banks shared her hamburger with John Cusack. Then all of a sudden, Paul Giamatti is fucking mad. He goes up to John Cusack and he's like, no, you shouldn't fucking do that. You shouldn't fucking do that. Listen, this is not your fucking burger. You're not fucking hungry. This is hers. And seriously, I was like, oh my God, leave the poor man alone. You feel bad for John Cusack as Brian Wilson, and Paul Giamatti was great. But like I said, I really hope that Paul Dano gets nominated because he was so good and you feel so bad about Brian Wilson up to the end. And I gotta say, the end is kind of a mindfuck because it's like being on an acid trip because it goes to the different timelines of Brian Wilson within like 2 minutes. So it shows the baby Brian Wilson, the child Brian Wilson, the teenage Brian Wilson, the young adult Brian Wilson to the old Brian Wilson, and they keep merging timelines, and I'm like, wow, this is trippy, man. I can't wait to see this movie again because I have to see the beginning of it. I really liked it. It's one of the best movies of the year to me. And even though to me Mad Max is still Mad Max Fury Road is the best movie of the year so far to me, still Love and Mercy, I hope it gets nominated because it is that good. Alright, so Dope. The trailers look funny, so I decided to watch this film, and it's weird because it's like a mixture of Friday and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Here's the thing, it's not like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World where it deals with video games, like a video game logic and all that stuff, but it does the thing where it shows notes in the foreground, like explaining about who these characters are, what the definition of each word is. There's a description like almost every single time, and the narrator too, the way he's describing it as well. It really does remind me of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. But it's a mixture of Friday because everything is about drugs, and it's all because of this teenager who's a geek. He wants to go into Harvard. Basically, everyone's saying that you can't go to Harvard because this is where you're from, and even though this guy is a genius, and he's trying to start a rock band with his friends, they love the 90s, well, the 80s? The 80s and the 90s. They do love both decades, but mostly the 80s. And yeah, they have the kitten play hairstyle, and I do like this part where they describe the girl like, you didn't even know she's a girl until I told you, right? And I was like, holy shit, I didn't realize she's a girl! Even though she's kind of wearing feminine clothing, but I couldn't tell because of the hairstyle. And that actress is great, and she is very pretty too. And I do like the joke about her when they said, listen, man, you can't go into this club because of the ratio. So you have to have a woman with the 2 dudes, okay? That's the ratio. And then she showed her breasts, and he's like, oh, boys don't cry, motherfucker! The movie was funny here and there, but I don't think it's as good as people say it is. I'm kind of disappointed, though. I expected this to be the most hilarious movie of the year. I don't think it's as funny as Spy, even. I don't know why. I do like the jokes, and it is funny, and I do think it's a good movie, but I don't think it's a great movie. And I think it's, I don't know, probably the way... The trailers make it seem like this is one crazy day in the teenager's life right before he goes to college, but it's not. It really isn't. This movie takes place within weeks because they have to sell off this drug so they could get rid of it and stuff. And you do see Blake from Workaholics, and he was funny as hell in this movie. And I do like the scene where he was talking about, listen, I've been doing it in the butt all the time, so what does that mean? Does that mean that I'm a virgin? Or does that mean I'm gay? So, Blake Anderson was good, and yeah, the movie was fun, but it's not as great as I hoped for it to be. It's not as great as everyone said it is. I don't know. I do have to watch this movie again because it was fun, it was funny. But, yeah, there's something about it. I don't think it's even funnier than Spy, unfortunately. So, who knows? Alright, so the next movie up is Max. I fucking hate this movie. I fucking hate this movie. Fuck this movie. Fuck it. Oh my god. 50 Shades of Grey is better than this. The Seventh Son is better than this. This movie. You know what pissed me off the most about this fucking movie? At the end, during the credits, it said this movie is dedicated to the veterans of war and their dogs. Fuck you. No, it isn't. The first 10 minutes, probably. But no, this fucking movie is a ripoff of Beethoven. Just switch out the scientist dogs performing drug tests and all that, and switch them out with gun smugglers. And this doesn't take place in a war or anything. This is like any boy and his dog movie. And they just happen upon criminals. Seriously, this is not even based on a true story. Oh my god. And you know what's disappointing? Max is the best character! The dog! You root for the dog! I stayed during the movie for the fucking dog! And here's the funny thing about this while I was watching the film. Up to the scene where the main character was riding bikes with his friends, including the girl he kind of has a hot for, and they're going on this trail and stuff, and Max just happens to be following them, and it's supposed to be this action sequence. Yeah, you know what happened in my theater? There was a blackout! That day, there were thunderstorms, and that theater had a blackout for about 10 minutes. I should have fucking left. I should have fucking left. It was a fucking sign from the gods to tell me to fucking leave because this movie is fucking atrocious. Ugh! I should have listened, but I didn't. I was like, you know what? Probably it'll get better. Probably it'll get better. But no, it doesn't get better. This is a fucking terrible movie. And you have talented actors in this. Talented actors. You have the mother from Gilmore Girls, and she was horrible in this. You have Thomas Hayden Church, who was wasted in this. Ugh. Jay Hernandez is probably the best actor in this film. And he was acceptable, I guess, because he was barely in the movie. But Thomas Hayden Church, it's like he came from a different movie. Seriously, his storyline is so much better. Ugh. Why didn't they just focus on the dog with his comrade in the war? We don't need the fucking idiot teenage brother who doesn't give a shit about his older brother dying. Seriously, there's a scene in the first 10 minutes where the older brother was talking with his family during Skype. And the kid brother didn't want to say goodbye or anything. He just wanted to play games. He just wanted to play games. I was like, listen, your brother's at war. He could die anytime. Say goodbye, you fucking prick. Ugh, I did not like this main character. Sorry. The acting, I guess, is fine, but I just don't like the character. I don't care that he gets the girl in the end. And also, the girl just likes him for no reason. He sees her like once, and they immediately fall in love apparently. And his best friend is a fucking annoying prick. You don't need this story about gun smugglers. If you're trying to make a movie dedicated to the veterans and their dogs, then make a movie dedicated to the veterans and their dogs. I've seen special features for this where they were talking about war. They're talking about the war dogs and all that stuff. And I was like, after watching the film, I was like, you're a complete liar. Warner Brothers, how do you do this? I was hoping for this movie to be a lot like War Horse. Okay? But it isn't. Not even close. The first 10 minutes is about Max and his partner in the war. And that's it. The rest of the movie can go fuck itself. Worst movie I've seen this year so far. Really. And now to end off the June movies, it's Ted 2. It's not as funny as the first one, but I did like it a lot more than A Million Ways to Die in the West. There's a bunch of funny jokes in the movie, but everything about the court case was not funny. I don't know what Seth MacFarlane is thinking. I guess he's trying to treat a court case with heart and all that stuff, but I was like, did you not see Liar Liar? Did you not see A Few Good Men? He could have done a parody of A Few Good Men, but he didn't. And it's not even as heartwarming or charming as Liar Liar. Even that court case in Liar Liar was great. There's a lot of humor, but then when the verdict comes in, you actually feel bad for the Jim Carrey when you realize he made a huge mistake. But yeah, the jokes were mostly funny though. My favorite jokes were when, in the first 10 minutes, is when Ted was arguing with his wife, and then it turns out that the downstairs neighbor heard all that bullshit, and he argued with Ted, and then the neighbor across the hall was yelling at Ted and the neighbor, and the Ted and the neighbor are like, go fuck yourself, shut the fuck up, you go back to your room, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, oh my god, she's terrible. That was a funny joke. And my second favorite joke is the tricks scene. Liam Neeson was so amazing! Oh my god! I died! I literally died! I was on the floor! I could not... It was just that funny. Liam Neeson was super serious, and when he was talking with Ted about fucking tricks, it was just amazing. It was just comedy gold. I hear that the tricks are for kids, right? That's what it says on the box. Well, if I take it, will you follow me? We don't really have the money for that. But if you stay after the credits, oh my god, that was such a good payoff. Seriously, Liam Neeson coming back all bloodied and stuff, putting the tricks on the counter and looking very angry at the camera. That was amazing. Oh my god, that was so worth it. But seriously, why don't you make him the bad guy? So that would have been hilarious. That it turns out that Ted was lying. Someone did follow him and beat Liam Neeson up, so he wants to kill Ted. He would be a better villain. You don't need Giovanni Ribisi back. He was great in the first movie. He was kind of bad in this one. You don't need him back. Come on. Remember that fight scene that was amazing in the first Ted movie when Mark Wahlberg and Ted are fighting in the hotel room? You don't really get that here. You see a little glimpse of them fighting over a beer, but that was in the background, and it was a funny scene, but it was not as awesome as the fight scene in the first movie. And I don't know why there's a musical montage in the beginning of this film. It lasted, it was like 5 to 10 minutes long. It was really long, and it was dragging in parts, so I don't know why he had to do that. I was laughing at first, but then I was like, wow, this scene is really, really long. I'm wondering if they're trying to do like the Monty Python kind of thing, like, oh, we're sorry that the scene is very, very long, but here's some funny jokes, ha 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 ha. But no, it's nothing like that. Here's the thing I hated the most about the movie. Seth MacFarlane should have fucking waited until Mila Kunis got pregnant so she could film Ted 2. The fact that she and Mark Wahlberg get divorced, and that the new love interest is Amanda Seyfried, makes the first movie pointless! Pointless! Ted is alive because of Mila Kunis! She wished for him to be alive! What the fucking hell? I thought that was pointless. And even though I do like Amanda Seyfried, Mila Kunis and Mark Wahlberg had so much better chemistry, to be honest. And I felt like Seth MacFarlane should have just waited until Mila Kunis got pregnant and gave birth to her child and then filmed it. Because that whole thing was pointless. I don't want to see another I don't know, the romance between Amanda Seyfried and Mark Wahlberg is kind of weak. But then again, Mila Kunis is too good for Mark Wahlberg. But still, it kind of makes it seem like the film is going backwards, because that was the whole point of the first movie. That Mark Wahlberg is becoming an adult and he's think about everyone else's needs. He's trying to grow up. But no, it's like he reverted back to being a kid again. I don't get it. I didn't like it. There was this weird scene and it references Jurassic Park. So at first I was laughing. So it's like when Mark Wahlberg was looking at a weed leaf, and then Ted is just walking towards him, turns his head, and Mark Wahlberg looks at the forest of weed, basically. And then you hear the Jurassic Park theme. Na-na-na, 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 na-na-na. So you hear that, and I was laughing because we just watched Jurassic World like a couple weeks before we see this movie. And then all of a sudden, you have the Jurassic Park theme, and it was funny at first. But then all of a sudden, Ted ends the joke by saying, they move in herds. They do move in herds. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? No, seriously, what the fuck does that mean? I understand that that was from the Jurassic Park. Okay? It made sense in Jurassic Park. Why would you say it here? Unless he's imagining them moving, if he's imagining them become like dinosaurs made out of weed or something like that. But no! It made no sense. They move in herds. They do move in herds. That joke made no sense! I remember in the trailers where they show, I think it was a Hummer with two guys shooting at Ted, and then they get blown up by getting hit by a truck or something like that. Yeah, that was in the trailers, not in the movie. That was weird. And I do like the fact that the last 15 minutes take place in Comic-Con. New York Comic-Con, and I was like, holy shit, they actually filmed it in New York Comic-Con. This is awesome. But then all of a sudden you see a sign that says, pick up tickets. Tickets are available. I was like, bull fucking shit. Tickets are not available, especially when it's on Comic-Con day. No. But then my friend and I realized, oh, are they talking about Thursday? That makes sense because it's not as crowded as Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. That would make perfect sense that it's on Thursday, because I remember Thursday tickets are not sold out yet. So that would make sense. And I feel like they actually shot it in New York Comic Con because it looks authentic as hell, man. And it looks great. And I do like the fact that Patrick Warburton dressed up as the Tick. And at first I didn't recognize this guy. But the guy next to him, he plays Worf in the Star Trek The Next Generation. And wow, he was great. So yeah, that's how I feel about the movies in June. So write down in the comments below if you've seen these movies. What'd you think of them? Did you like them? Did you hate them? Let me know. Guys, if you like this video, please click the like button. If you'd like to subscribe, there's an annotation here for subscribing. So until next time, guys, see you later and thank you for watching.